Oh, Chicago Tribune? Yes. Uh-huh. Los Angeles Times? Yes. Daily News of New York? Yes. Washington Post? Isn't that right? In the New York Times? Yes. I've emailed you thousands of times? Yes. And instead of reporting the news, now there's some special interest newspapers. Why don't you get me the publications of all of those in the Associated Press? Yes. Why don't you get me the publications of all of those that have an obligation? Yes. Why don't you give me the publications of all of those that have subscribers? Now, this editorial department, there's quite an editorial about the refusal to acknowledge not only the rights of American citizens, yes, not willing to acknowledge the obligations of the conventions of the Hague and the United Nations. Yeah. I'm thinking it could be one of these huge lawsuits. Huge. Now, why don't we just add up the net worth of each and every one of these newspapers in every county, in each city? Yes. And then when I look at the total amount of net worth, well, let's say I emailed the largest newspapers in the world, and you as a state decided you were going to cover this up and you were going to refuse to enforce my rights. Yes. The rights of the five minors named. Yes. And I said, well, you're getting sued for that. Now, you can't issue a parenting plan without protecting the legal representation of the five minors named. And no, I mean, give me the actual value of every newspaper in this nation. Now, I had once mentioned, yes, that I would sue and bankrupt, yes, as in each and every newspaper, Warren Buffett, yes, and we'd have one North American newspaper that I would own, yes, and then each and every citizen of the United States subscribe to just one newspaper for the whole nation. Now, there is a way of getting right now, because I'll fucking sue you for the ownership of every newspaper in the nation. Now, there was an obligation to keep the citizens of the United States informed, yes, about forgery and fraud, yes, false reporting, yes, child abduction, ooch, child exploitation right now, hate crimes, ooch, and for some reason, I will set it up so there is one national newspaper and all the other ones will get sued for their actual value. Now, let's say it's the Budnik Daily Times. And any citizen of the United States can have a subscription to it because I'll take